All right, the day's finally come. We've been teasing this line for like months now. So I got the Mizuno Pro line up from top to bottom right here. We're gonna start and run you through this whole thing, Fred. Tell me where you instantly gravitate towards right off the bat.
I'm going straight for the blade. This is the prettiest club I've ever seen, really. I mean, the Mizuno Pro, what is it, 221?
221, yep.
I think myself and everyone around has been seeing this on social media going nuts, and the day is finally here where I can see it in person. I mean, I was expected to see just a beautiful looking iron, and this is exactly what it is. Even in person, super clean lines. I mean, it's just gorgeous to look at. There's definitely some more technology here too, isn't it? It's not just something we put on the wall.
You're right. I mean, the muscle back is a fun one because the muscle back is where you start with a look at a dress. Like, that's the first box you have to check. So you have to make sure it looks slim, it looks compact, it looks like it's hard to hit. And then if we can deliver you a little bit more forgiveness, a little bit more control out of that, we've really hit a home run there. And that's what 221 does, is it brings some more technology into that traditional look. So you've seen the 221. The one I'm really excited to show you is the 223 because it is so different than what we've done before. I'm gonna grab this right here. This is a 2235 iron. I'm also gonna grab a 2239 iron at the same time. The reason I do that is because this set has totally evolved from where we've ever been before. So take a look at those and tell me your initial thoughts.
I mean, I actually played the JPX Forged because I need a little bit higher launch, and this looks like a blade version of the JPX Forged.
And you're exactly right, because so many people play a forged iron because of what it does, and they almost deal with the look of it. And what I mean by a forged, a JPX Forged, the 921, 919 before that, they do amazing things performance-wise, but they are a little bit larger, a little bit thicker top line, all those things. The Mizuno Pro 223 has taken all of that technology and put it into that player's package. So we give you the launch, we give you the performance, we give you the forgiveness in something that looks like a shallow cavity.
So for everyone that wants to play a blade, but can't really handle it,
right?
This is for you guys right here.
And that's where the 5 iron, like the 9 iron is really compact. The 5 iron, it takes another step forward because it actually has the chromoly material. Okay. So that 5 iron, it actually, even though you can't see the technology behind it, if you look at it from the sole side, we actually went in here and we milled out right here. And by doing that, we were able to have the whole face rebound so we can get a ton of launch out of it. So that's like your forged right now. You'll get that launch and you'll get that height, but it doesn't look like it in a dress.
No, I love that. All right, and then we have the top end of the bag, yeah?
Absolutely. We're gonna go up here to a 225. Let me do some digging. There's a 225 right there. 225 is the evolution of our HMB, which that's a technology and a platform that we haven't been doing, or that we've been doing a lot with for the last number of years, and that's the hollow body construction. So a forged face and neck, but it looks like a muscle back.
So this is literally a driving iron that looks like a blade too. So they're all much cleaner looking. Like, that's the biggest thing I've seen here. Like, even the clubs that have the most technology, or whatever you want to say, the bigger models, still look super clean. Even when I put that down, it doesn't look like just a big chunk of metal. You know what I mean? It looks really, really good.
And that's one of the things that Mizuno Pro and just Mizuno in general are really good at, is packing a lot of technology into something that doesn't necessarily look like it has a lot. So the 225, it looks smaller than the previous HMB, but it's gonna launch higher, it's gonna go farther, and it's really gonna blend to any of these sets and make a phenomenal combo.
And then obviously there's one club that stands out the most here. This is what you guys are gonna notice. Mizuno is now making a black club.
That's the one I know you wanted to grab right off the bat too. This is the Mizuno Pro Fly High. This is the true driving iron. So it's a little bit larger, longer from toe to heel, a little bit thicker sole, but we bring some of our fairway wood and hybrid technology right into this. So it's a face material that's gonna get explosive ball speed, ton of launch, but you can blend it to these sets and you can put that graphite shaft in it.
It looks like you're gonna hit this a mile. Like, it looks like an absolute rocket launcher.
And that's what you really are doing with the driving iron. By making the 225 smaller, we were able to make this a little bit bigger. So now it's taking what was one club and really making them a lot more specialized.
So for you guys out there, this is not gonna break your fingers too if you slightly miss-hit it, right?
This is surprisingly forgiving. So even though it's a driving iron, you can get a lot out of it for a number of different ball speed players.
What would you use that for, Fred?
So, I mean, the driving irons has gone, they're really popular for the tour players nowadays. You see it in almost everyone's bag. The reason is, you know, we need some extra launch with the longer irons now. The greens are super firm, you need the ball to stop quickly, and they're just so much easier to hit, especially if it's maybe you're slightly in the rough, you don't have a perfect lie. These clubs just help the ball to just launch straight up in the air. And all right, so what's the difference here between these two? Because they both look like driving irons.
So right now I'm holding the Fly High and the 225. This is a 5-iron and a 4-iron. 2 irons that do similar things, but with different executions of them. So talk to me about the top end of your iron set and your hybrids and what you like to play.
Yeah, so I've got a 4 and a 5, which
Okay.
is more kind of controlled distance irons.
Yep.
And then I have a 2-iron HMB, which is just the rocket launcher, right?
Right.
There's something I use off the tee on tight holes, something I just get going if it's really windy.
Yep.
So it looks like this is the distance iron more than this is more like a controlled version of the extension
Absolutely.
of the set, right?
So what I always like to recommend is to pull a 225 in when you're looking for a little bit more forgiveness, a little bit more launch, but you're still looking for iron performance. Like you're
Yeah.
still looking for it to go a specific distance. When you're looking for something at the top end of the bag to really then blend you to your fairway woods or hybrids, that's where this comes in, because it's more of a distance golf club. You know, I picture this one coming in soft into a par 5 or soft into a long par 4. This one I picture more off the tee, hitting those bullets, those stingers that people love. So to me, that's the difference between the Fly High and the 225. So when I look at this Mizuno Pro Fly High, it'll speak to a higher handicap range than probably a lot of the Mizuno Pro line, but I wouldn't go all the way up into like the super low swing speeds, because then you need even more CG depth, and that's where a wood type hybrid fits. But if you're someone who's really looking to blend like your, call it 3 wood to your 4-iron, you need a distance club in between, that's where this Fly High will shine.
So when I was down at Sea Island, Cookie told me that not many tour players are actually using a set 3-iron anymore. Most of them have some type of driving iron.
Yeah, you're right. It's funny how everybody now looks at a 3-iron. Yes, it's something that needs to have control, but we need more height out of it. You know, tight pins, long courses, you're hitting those into greens more. So people are looking for something that's going to launch and it's going to stay in the air and come down steep. And that's where Fly High is a totally different animal than anything we've done in the recent past.
And even the better players slightly miss-hit some shots. And if you lose a lot of distance off a miss-hit, you're gonna hit in the water, plug in the bunker, whatever it is. So this type of designs or the driving irons definitely gets more out of a miss-hit, right?
Well, and the cool thing is, you know, when you're talking muscle backs and better players, you're talking about working the ball and stuff like that. When you get to a 3-iron, 4-iron, workability really takes a back seat to forgiveness and launch.
Yep.
And that's where the Fly High steps in, because yes, it's still compact, it still looks looks like a player's golf club, but it's gonna launch up in the air and it's gonna go relatively straight and steep into descent. So that's the great thing about it, is it's a different animal and a whole different mindset in terms of what that club should be. The slight contradiction on this golf club is that it has a Mizuno Pro name on it. So it is a more forgiving, larger golf club, but at the same time, it still looks like a player's club. And Mizuno Pro, the misconception is that Mizuno Pro is just small muscle backs and that's it. Mizuno Pro is what's in the modern player's bag, and the modern game demands that high launch and steep angle of descent, and that's where the Mizuno Pro Fly High fits in.
Yeah, so when I look at it, it doesn't look like a pure game improving iron, right? It looks really, really clean. The offset is just slightly offset, which you normally see on driving irons.
Right.
But it's still very clean lines, doesn't look too thick from the top view, but it still looks extremely forgiving.
Yeah, it's interesting to look at how the player's bag evolves over the years. So go back a number of years and there were blade long irons, and then people started to recognize I need to bring game improvement into my long irons, because I want it to go higher and I want it to go steeper, but that traditionally came with more offset, thick top lines, all these kind of non-players looks. That's where Fly High doesn't match that, because it brings that game improvement performance to a Mizuno Pro look at a dress.
And that's why it deserves the Mizuno Pro stamping.
That's absolutely right.
And they evolve beautiful together. So even if you look at the muscle back or the blades, I mean, that looks very similar and they look great together too, yeah?
You're exactly right.